Julie. Thanks for joining me today here on my channel. I am back with a Hymnal art journaling page, and I want to share with you how I'm going to fix a fail. So I did this last night. It did not turn out the way I wanted it to. I used some ink spray, or it was a spritz from Studio Calico for this, and I like that. That's pretty, but I don't like the way this turned out. This black and this orange and yellow. I do kind of like the sun, the way this is, so I may work with that a little bit more. But I'm gonna start over and just do a light fix, and we'll see how it goes. Oh, I am using this new stamp set from Sweet and Sassy Stamps called Good Morning, and it's a fun stamp set. I'm going to use the sun and then the words, "In the morning when I rise, give me Jesus." And that's the hymn that I'm journaling here. This is in my mini hymnal, so you can see it's not even as big as my hand, one side of it. So I really like the size of this. So I'm going to put you on fast forward and we'll get started. Okay, so I'm putting a piece of cardstock behind my page, and I'm going to fix that down with a little bit of washi tape. Notice I put the washi tape on my hand first to get some of that stickiness off. Now I'm going to cover my page with acrylic paints. I'm using a couple of different kinds. I've got some folk art, that's what this orange is, and then I'm using the Target acrylics, is the yellow and the red. These are light body acrylics, so you don't get a lot of coverage, which is good because I can see through the paint and I can still see the music notes, the score, which I want. When I'm doing hymnal journaling, I really want to be able to see the music, but the music is often difficult because it's so pronounced that it makes for a hard job to make the background and the focal point, so you can really hone in on what you want to do. But because it is a light body paint, I'm not getting a lot of coverage on the word Jesus there, where that was stamped in black. So I'm just layering up the paints to get that. I'm doing kind of an ombre effect, so the white, the yellow, the orange, and the red is blending together. I pulled out some of my heavy body Liquitex paint, and this is going to have some better coverage. It is thicker, so I'm getting a little bit of almost texture down here. And I am using all of this with just a baby wipe. I'm just rubbing it on with a baby wipe and blending it all together. Adding a little bit more white. You're still going to be able to see kind of a ghost of that word Jesus. It's going to just peek through just a tad, but once I get all the stamping on, it's going to be fine, I believe. So I'm journaling the hymn, "Give Me Jesus." And I love the words to this hymn. "In the morning when I rise, give me Jesus. You can have all this world, but give me Jesus." It's about priorities and about seeking God first. And seek is my one little word for this year. And so I'm really doing a lot of reflecting and studying on what that means. So in the morning, when I rise, give me Jesus. Let that be the first thing that I do. Let that be the first thing that I seek, is Jesus. So here I am, I'm stamping. Now I'm starting with two colors of Distress Oxides, Wild Honey and Ripe Persimmon. And what I do is I stamp it first, and then I come back and I spritz the stamp. This is the sun. And I come back and I spritz the stamp, and then that activates those Distress Oxides and make them run a little bit. I really like that effect, and this was the one thing I took from my original page, the way I had done that. And this is going to kind of blend those colors. It's going to look like a juicy sunrise, just that sunburst, a burst of sunshine. So I'm just adding a few more layers of that, the colors. And I'm going to spritz that again, so that'll just run a little bit. I am dabbing up some of the extra water, and I do dry with my heat tool after this, before I stamp the black, so I cut that out. Now I'm starting with this Stays On ink, because sometimes when you're stamping on acrylic paint, my favorite Versafine Onyx black ink. Sometimes it can kind of smear because it's a little more wet. It's a pigment ink. So I use that StazOn, but I think it's a little dry. So I didn't get a good impression. So I'm going to come in now with the Versafine, and it worked fine. I was worried that it would smear and run, but it worked fine. So now I'm going to stamp the words, and this stamp set, look at all these images. I love these. So I'm using that sunrise, and then I'm stamping the words, "In the morning when I rise, give me Jesus," which are the words to this beautiful hymn. This song was sung at church last weekend as we were celebrating the first weekend of Black History Month. And a woman sang this at our church, and it was just beautiful. And so I wanted to journal this hymn. I'm coming in where I didn't get a perfect impression. I'm coming in with my black Faber-Castell big brush marker. And then I'm going to fill in some of these words here too, where it did kind of smear just a little bit on some of the words. So I come in with my pen, my precision pen. This is Micron 0.8. So it's got a little bit of a thicker nub to it, a nib, not a nub. And I put that paper towel down there so I won't smear what I had just fixed. Now I'm going to come in and paint these sunbursts with the same acrylic paints, and I'm using a very wet paintbrush so that it's going to blend well. And I'm using the same ombre effect where the red is on the outside, then the orange, and then the yellow. This red is actually called Candy Apple, and it's almost a pink red. I love that color. And then some orange, and then the yellow. I am much happier with the way this is turning out. It's bright, it's sunny, the spacing of the words is better than my original page. I like stamping the word Jesus down in the sun rays. I didn't do that the first time, and so I'm just much happier with the way this is turning out. Okay, so let me dry that a little bit, add a little bit more yellow to the center. This is one of my Ranger heat tool. It has a lighter heat. It's not as direct as a hair dryer, and that's why it works better. I do have all of my products linked that I am using. This now, I'm coming in with a white gel pen. This is just a Signo gel pen, and I'm giving some shading to each of the letters. This will make that black stand out a little bit more against the colorful background, and it highlights it, which is perfect for the whole theme of this page. And what you want to make sure you do is stay consistent of shading on the same side of your letters. So I'm shading on the inside inside left of all the letters. Just stay consistent. You want to imagine the light sources coming from one place. And now I'm adding that detailing also on the sunbeams. And that makes it just stand out a tad bit more. The key with these white gel pens is not to press too hard. That's what I have found. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of splatter painting. So I take that same white acrylic and I water it down, and then I splatter it around the page. Got a little bit more than I needed. And I will come in with a little bit more splattering of the orange and that red color. I'm going to add some washi tape. This is from my stash. I think it's a recollection set. I'm making a tab by placing some of the washi tape on some cardstock and then punching it out with my We Are Memory Keepers tab punch. Now I'm going to make a piece of word fetty from this stamp set. Is called Faith Word Fetty from Sweet and Sassy Stamps. And I picked the one that says "Not Today, Satan." And I just thought that was perfect, because when we, first thing in the morning, when we rise and we spend time with Jesus, then we are saying already, not today, Satan. You're not going to affect my day. You're not going to have victory over me. So I cut that out, and I give it a little bit of edging by scraping it along the ink pad. I adhere that down and place that on my tab that I punched out. Now I'm just figuring out where I want it to go. And this is an old Illustrated Faith clip, and I picked this puffy one because it just reminds me of the sun. So I put that up. I'm going to put a little bit of washi tape down to anchor that. And this is one. It's got some daisies on it, but it kind of looks like the sunbeam, but it's clear. It's kind of translucent, the white part of it. So I'm going to put that down and then rub it. And when you rub it, any of your sticker sheets, your clear things, when you rub it like that, then you're able to see through it a little bit better. And then that anchors my clip up there. I'm going to add a little bit of black and white washi, because I always think that that balances out a very colorful page. I'm going to put that underneath the word Jesus, and that's going to kind of emphasize the word Jesus there. Now I've got black in the bottom, there on the left, so I'm going to add my date stamp up on the top right to give it kind of that triangle look. Okay, now I'm coming in and adding a little bit more splatters on the page with the red, and now some of the orange, just a tad, because I had all that white, but I thought I needed a little bit more down here at the bottom where the sun is bursting, and that's what these splatters remind me of, the sun just bursting. Okay, so there's my page. Here's some close-up shots. Again, I'm really happy with the way that this page turned out. I like it so much better than the original. Remember, you can always fix things. Sometimes it's a matter of just being satisfied with it, but sometimes it's an easy fix. So thanks for joining me today for this Hymnal Art Journaling page. Be sure to check out the product links that I have in the description box. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks so much. God bless. Bye-bye.